All right, just a review of what we did in practice yesterday because there were a couple of people who missed it, and we did go over a couple of new things. We added in two out of bounds plays and also did a little bit of review on the presses, which I figured I would make a video of just so you guys are up to speed. The We did one out of bounds play against man and one against zone. So this first one is against man, and this is called Utah. And basically, it really just involves action between the five and the one. Blue is on offense. Okay, the four and the two here are basically just here for misdirection. The four is going to cut out this way, and the two is going to cut out that this way. The real key is what happens with the five and the one. The five is going to go set a pick on the one's man. Okay, and then just basically roll to the basket. What happens is the five picks one's guy, and the one cuts this way, cuts opposite, and the five rolls. Okay, we call it Utah because the Utah Jazz used to do this all the time in the half court, and it makes for pretty good out of bounds play. Even in the practice yesterday, it worked pretty well. So again, all that's happening is the five is setting a pick on the one's man, and the one is using it to cut this way, and the five is going to roll, sealing his man and hopefully getting to the basket. So these are basically the two options. And what we're having is the four get out here for a safety, and maybe the two come out over here for a safety. And this is the way, hopefully it could look. Something like that. Okay. So again, see what's happening. The four and the two really don't exist here. I mean, they're sprinting out in case nothing else works. But this is the real key pick is the five makes a total beeline at the one's man. And yeah, if the one can get here, and it got here in practice quite a bit, actually. Then just give it to him. But if that's not there, the five should be slipping through and rolling to the basket. Okay? So that one is called Utah. Okay, and we also set up another out-of-bounds play against zones, which is really, really good. It was really quick to learn, and it actually built on something we had already been doing. At the end, I'll show you that in a second. But it's really, really good against all these 2-3 zones that we're playing, those that guard out of bounds this way. So essentially what happens is three's taking the ball out pretty much as usual. And everybody's got a pretty key role in this. The one is kind of on the offside elbow, right around there. The two and the five are stacked up, the five the biggest man here. And probably the most important player in this whole piece is the four. The four, kind of our second biggest guy, is lined up all the way back out here. So what's going to happen is the two is going to try to just, kind of come off the five, come right over here, and maybe get a bounce pass for a layup. That's almost never going to happen. Okay? But what it's going to happen is it's going to hopefully drag the five a little bit with him. Then what's happening is the five man is immediately sprinting right to here. Right to this short corner where you can make this baseline jump shot. Now, I don't expect it to be open all too often because I expect the four to honor that and to kind of go with him. The key is what happens next is this four, who supposedly is going to have a little point guard watching him, is going to be sliding right here towards the basket. He's either going to be open or at worst, he's going to have a very small guy on his back and maybe we can give him a little bounce pass. Okay? So essentially, this is the main action, okay? It looks a little like this, right? Now, if none of that works, and the four kind of cheats over or whatever, he can't get to him, we have the same type of action that we have on our number 3 out-of-bounds play, which we know already, in that we might throw it out to the 5, who might throw it back to the 1, who might throw it back to the out-of-bounds guy who's rubbing off here for 3, okay? You'll see how that works, right? And we all know this already. Now, the other thing that works a lot, worked in practice a lot, is just right over here. I mean, this guy could have the shot right like this. So unless they really, really shift the zone well, which I haven't seen anybody do yet, this could really, really be a good play. And this is called X. Just like that. Right. So for those of you that weren't in practice, memorize these. They're really not difficult, but they're going to work really, really well. The other thing that we went over, which I thought was worth discussing, is our presses and how our press break kind of relates to those presses. So the first thing we remembered was diamond, and I took a lot of time to make sure that the foreman know what he's trying to do in the diamond press. Now again, diamond is a zone, so the 3 is going to be responsible. Whoever's here is responsible for this area. The 2 is responsible for this area. The 1 is actually should be a little bit more shaded towards ball side. Okay, so he's kind of following the ball, and the 5 is just deep. So it's really important that the 4 angle and influence the ball this way. He can't allow this pass. Okay, he can't allow a pass over to here either. He's got to angle it this way. And we see, so what happens is against a lot of presses, a lot of press breaks, you just have to be good trappers because 2 guys have to guard 3, right? So if the 3 and the 4 put a good trap on the 1, then, maybe the 2 will read which way the 1's shoulders are pointing and cheat in the right direction, okay? So you see, by the way, in this format, this press break I gave this team that we're playing against in this mythical thing, you have 1 guy on sideline, 1 guy in safety, and 1 guy in the middle. And that's what all good press breaks are going to give you. Once this ball is inbounded, this guy's going to have 3 options against any decent press break. That's why pressing is kind of difficult. I mean, you're really not supposed to be able to press anybody if they run a good press break and you stay poised because you have 2 guys guarding 3. The only way you can really do it is if either they have a really bad press break or these guys do a tremendous job of trapping. So to kind of like take the players off the court for a second, if we were on offense, what we do again is we pass and then we cut, and regardless of who's trapping where, you always have these 3 guys. You have a sideline, you want them a little bit on our side of the ball, or middle, or a safety. See, when you get this ball in bounds, you don't want to be dribbling into this trap. You should know that you have these 3 options always available. And the other thing we did is we compared the diamond press, which was a zone press, to our fist press, which is man-to-man. And they look totally different, okay? And the idea is completely different. The idea is that the 4 is not supposed to be angling or influencing the 4 anywhere. He's supposed to have he's supposed to be all over this guy, making his life miserable, not letting the ball go in anywhere. And these guys are not guarding areas. These guys are guarding their men. And they have to be denying, and not letting the ball in. So it's a totally different mindset. So here, in what happens in fist, if this ball comes in, now what happens is almost just like man-to-man help defense. You don't have to stay exactly on your guy. You have to just see both, stay between man and ball, maybe be about 1/3 the distance between your man and the ball. So it's just a different look. Okay, diamond is when you're in the zone and influencing it into the corner and playing areas, where fist is when you're just all over the ball and denying the inbound pass. And once the ball comes in, then perfect position is going to be about 1/3 the distance in help. So again, those out of bounds plays are going to work really well for us. And again, we just spent a little time reviewing the presses. That's pretty much it. And then we scrimmaged and all that stuff. But for those of you who did not make it for practice, you should really take a look at this stuff.